Hey, Melissa Wick here. I own Wick Law Offices, a small business law firm here in Columbus, Ohio. Today we're talking about social enterprises and how to create something really cool and really different. In my coaching course, we do a lot of thought work, right? So what we believe in that course is that your thinking creates your emotions, right? So the way you're thinking is creating the feelings that you're having, right? So and the feelings that you have are how you're going to like fuel the actions you take, and they're going to create the results that you see. Okay, so to create a social enterprise, you're going to have to think a little differently. So I always tell people that the first question I ask is, what result do you want from this business? Okay, and then the second question I ask is, what are the actions you're going to need to take to see the results? The third question I ask is, how do you need to feel as you're taking those actions so that you don't stop, right? Like, what's the feeling that you want to have as you're growing this business, as you're creating this business? Like, and always my position is you got to do it your own way, right? There's no path to creating a really fantastic social enterprise, but there are some legal questions that I can help you assess and think about when you're thinking about forming one. Okay, so there are some questions I ask my budding social entrepreneurs. The first one is about funding. So like, where do you envision your funding coming from? If you're seeking philanthropic funding, or if you're seeking like grants and donations, you might want to think about being a nonprofit, right? But if you're going to seek like investors eventually, or if you want to seek funding from investors, then you definitely need to be for profit. The second question is, where do you want your profits to go, right? So if you're a nonprofit, it can't go to anybody. It needs to go back into the business, right? You can pay small salaries, but you can't pay investors through any of the profit, right? So the profits need to go back into the business. The third thing is, how do you want to be perceived? I mean, I think of social enterprises generally as for-profit entities, but there are people that are getting pretty picky about what a social enterprise is, and they're kind of like narrowing the box down to like, you have to be basically Tom Shoes, give one, buy one, give one to count. And I don't think that's fair, and I don't think it's accurate. But I think, if you want to be perceived as a business that is simply interested in its mission and not generating a profit at all, then you may want to just be a nonprofit. The fourth question is, do you think your business model has the ability to attract investors, right? Like, not all businesses are enticing to investors, but if you have an idea that would be or could be, then you would definitely want to be a for-profit business. And the fifth thing I ask people about is taxes, right? If you're looking to use the IRS to receive tax concessions, then you're probably thinking more along the lines of being a nonprofit. But if that's not really in your long-term plans, then I would assume you would want to be a for-profit entity. Anyway, there's so much to be said about social entrepreneurs. It's like my favorite thing. So I love talking about social entrepreneurship, and I serve on a couple boards that deal with social entrepreneurship. So if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. My name is Melissa Wick. I own Wick Law Offices. It's a small business law firm here in Columbus, Ohio. Thanks for watching.